for joining us for another episode of the In the Game interview series. Today we've got Lindsay Vera with us, head coach at Texas Southern. Lindsay, thanks for taking some time to talk.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you give us some of your fantastic playing background and Lindsay, your coaching journey?
Yeah, so grew up in Houston playing and made it to NC State and was there for 4 years at NC State and fortunate enough to have been drafted by the Boston Breakers when it was the first year of the WPS. So it was Tony DeChico coaching, so that was a big honor for me. I mean, no matter what the result, and I eventually was released after about like a month and change. And then I got some trials with New Jersey Sky Blue and St. Louis Athletica, and both groups, you know, it was kind of like a developmental thing. And at the end of the day, for me, going back to NC State to finish out school and to finish out on a scholarship actually ended up being more valuable than the money that we would have been getting as developmental players. So it was still a good decision. It was all meant to be. And then right after I was playing, trying to continue to play, I knew coaching was next. And through summer leagues like the Carolina Railhawks and the Clarets, which I was a part of, I secured an internship with Castle. It was when Jay Howell was still there and Charlie Slagle, and so they gave me a chance. So I was interning at Castle. Now it's NCFC, obviously, but and I was there for 5 years, just helping with marketing, but coaching, you know, every age team I could. So I had an 8 and 9 year olds all the way up to 15, 16-year-old high school girls. So I got to see the whole gamut, and that was awesome. It was a great experience. Like I already loved the game as a player, and I couldn't believe I could, you know, love it even more from the other side. And mutual coaches at Castle knew Glad Bagariu, who you just had on the show. And so he and I got in touch because he was looking for an assistant coach to go down to UTRGV. And you know, he and I met, we just hit it off right away. It was great, just good connection. And I went down there for 4 years with Glad, and we started the program together, and he taught me so much and helped me prepare for my first head job, which was at UNC Asheville. And then that was a short stint, but the next place was Texas Southern here in Houston, so it was a way to come back home. So I was at Nashville for 1 season, and now I've been at Texas Southern for a full year. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm here for the long haul because it's home. So just learning a lot, being in the SWAC now. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think going home is always a great opportunity. You know, and whenever you left Asheville, I was a little disappointed because one of my girls was there. But you know, whenever I heard where you were going, I was like, well, that makes complete sense. You know, I think that's a great opportunity for you there.
Well, and a lot of people, you get all sorts of comments and stuff in the world, and luckily, like I'm secure enough in my own decisions. I know what I need and what I need to do. But a lot of people were like, what is she doing? You know, kind of thing. But then people were like, oh, you're from Houston? I was like, yes. And you know, I'm very close with my family, very close. And I had not lived in Houston for 15 years. And it was just time. Like, it was just meant to be. So I'm very happy I made the decision. It was hard. I knew I was going to catch heat for leaving Asheville so soon. But again, like, it was very much a life decision I was making over a career, really, just because I could see with my family now all the time. So it's been awesome. It was a good move for me.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things for coaches, is that the work-life balance and the being able to be close to family members. You know, I'm extremely lucky. I'm only a couple hours away from my family, so you know, I haven't moved as far away from my family as you did for so long. But I think that's a huge part that can be extremely underrated about making some decisions like you had to make.
Yeah, and it was overwhelming because I mean, I'm a 32-year-old head coach in Asheville, and you know, 6 months later an opportunity comes up, and I'm sitting here weighing out all the options of everyone's going to give me, you know, a hard time because I'm not younger, but newer head coach. And, but I had to go with it. So, you know, and like once you figured out all the people who are closer to me in the coaching world, they all got it. I mean, it was a no-brainer. So, yeah, family is everything. So it's been fun.
For sure. You got to have the support staff. You got to have the
Yeah,
support,
exactly.
not staff, but you got to have the support system.
Yeah, my dad is basically like my assistant coach, even though he's not. I'll call him. He'll come out every day, and he sits there and gives me feedback all the time. So it's good. He loves it too. So
My wife hears me say that she's support staff. I might not have a support staff anymore. So.
exactly. That's funny.
So what are some of the things that you're really looking to do with the program here since you've taken it over?
I think for me, obviously we all know we gotta talk about soccer and stuff, but for me, I think like the biggest like open door I have, I guess you could say, is the mental part of the game, is the mentality, because I think that is where I was a lot stronger as far as a player goes, is just do your job and love the game and grab a ball and go play by yourself. Like, you got to enjoy it that much. And I think that's something I'm trying to really instill in these players, is at the end of the day, the things we can't control it, but I'm trying to give them the idea of, you got to believe in something first before we actually go and do it. Because a lot of these players come in and, they're coming from different backgrounds, they're coming from different coaching styles, and sometimes, collaborating all of that, like in the soccer world, is actually easier than getting them all to think towards the same goal and actually visualize the same stuff. So for me, again, we're all coaches. We've obviously know how to coach to some degree, but I really like focusing on the mentality part for these players, because I think that it helps them in the moment of the 85th minute, it's tie game, or we're down a goal or something like that. And it's like, yeah, but if your mentality is strong enough and we have mental fitness, it's going to raise the level for us, not just in, when we have the ball, but when we don't have the ball and when we go down, or there's only so much time left in the game. So that's a big aspect for me, especially with this particular group. So I've enjoyed it, enjoyed talking to them. And we have little I guess tasks and fun little events we do where we talk about things and have little mental challenges and things. So that's a big part for me actually right now. So
nice. How is the group right now? Are you guys kind of a younger team?
Yeah, it's kind of spread out, but when I inherited the group, there was 8 seniors. So this past season, so it was a big senior group, more or less for most teams, but in a way, it was a blessing and a curse. It was very good that we had enough seniors who had been through it and they know all the differences of year to year. But at the same time, it was it's that many more mindsets to change in a shorter amount of time. So that was where the challenge was a little bit. But so with all those players gone, now we are a younger team again. But for this coming season, God willing, we have a lot of transfer students coming in, because I think that it'll keep us at a mature level and experience level, but enough room for players to develop underneath, coming in as a sophomore or junior and giving us at least 2 more years. So yeah, so it's still a good level of a team as far as the ages go, but certainly young and experienced, I guess I could say. So, but it still looks good. I'm actually really excited. I'm just hoping we can do it. We can pull this off.
Yeah. I'm praying every day that we're able to start when we're supposed to start, for sure.
I know.
It's crazy. I'll take a half a season as long as you give me something.
That's what I'm saying. We just had a conference call before this. We'll play just the conference. I mean, it's whatever, but I just want something to feel full. If we can get a full conference season in, I'll take that minimally, no problem. But I guess we'll see.
I'm willing to sacrifice anything that allows us to safely get back on the field at this point.
Yeah, agreed. I agree.
So obviously you've worked in the club game. So what are some of the things that throughout working in the club game and then working in the college game, what are some of the biggest pieces for you that you try to use with all of your teams?
A big one I like to take is I still teach technique. I still talk about technique all the time. When we have little more small group sessions or individual moments, I think back to when I was teaching the 8 and 9-year-olds how to, cut and turn and dribble through cones and all that stuff. I'm very big on that because, some coaches, we all go back and forth, but I still think you can get better technically. You could be 18, 22, 33, I don't care. And if you touch a ball enough, you can still get better technically. So, that's a good similarity for me because I think it's just the foundation. I mean, I can teach them a new play or something tactically. It doesn't matter if they can't receive a ball without, giving it away. So I think I'm very basic when it comes to coaching. I still stick to the fundamentals and the basic stuff that I was taught just because I see that still working, at least where I'm at and with the players I'm working with. So the technical aspect is definitely the same from the youth side to the college side, because I always emphasize that a lot, at least, for a good part of a week. And then, spend the rest of every training session doing something more specific to the next game or whatever's happening. So that's a big similarity, and something that I love to teach though too, because I think, again, you can push players past their comfort level and stuff and the speed of play. And I don't know, I like it. The technical part is a favorite of mine.
Yeah, I think that's something that I try to do as well with my teams. Usually the first 10 or 15 minutes is some kind of technical work, whether we're doing fun little technical challenges or we're just doing some passing patterns, anything to continue to try to develop the receiving and the comfortability on the ball for sure.
Right. And you can always tell, and I could tell right away. We all say this. I'm sure you say this to your players. Like, you can tell immediately who has touched the ball and who has not touched the ball over the summer, because like it's crazy how fast you can lose your touch, but it's also the opposite of how quickly you can get it back if you just spend time. So again, that's the whole part about the mentality too. I talk about, like, you guys can separate and be individuals all your own and you can still get better. So yeah, that's a big deal, I think, probably for all of us fighting this separation. Like,
yeah, it's been difficult. Luckily I've got a soccer player in the house that I can train, so
yeah. I know, I keep pushing all my nieces and nephews. I'm like, put the basketball down, let's go do this. Like, like, I want that so bad.
Yeah. So what are some things that you guys are doing with your team while you're away?
We stayed we have group me, so we've stayed in the group me a lot, and one of the players is actually very good about just sending, like, sometimes it's funny stuff, sometimes it's like relatable, or it's serious or motivational. So we stick on that a lot, and we're actually doing, like, we hadn't done a Zoom call yet like everybody. We're late to the game, but so this weekend we're scheduled it for Sunday because everyone will be home, everyone will be in, like, people are using their weekend still, like, to go walk or do stuff. So we're wrapping up our recruiting class. So I'm kind of glad the timing worked out this way, because now we can include all the new recruits in the call rather than just keep, missing each other. So that's our plan, is on Sunday, just have the group come in with all the new players who are just now signing this week, and introduce everybody. One of the girls was like, it's going to be awkward, but I was like, well, what's more awkward, like getting it out of the way now or meeting each other the first day of the season? So, and then of course, like, we talk a lot individually, all of us. So we kind of, we put captains in a group message, we put freshmen in a group message. So all of us kind of, like, connect there too. I'm trying to give them a little bit of space, because if I was having to do school online, I would be going crazy. So, yeah, so we're still in touch. We also kind of, like, do our own little things throughout our group messages, but the Zoom call will be first and foremost for the Sunday. So we'll see how it goes. I know it's going to be ridiculous with the girls we got on the team, but I'm looking forward to that. What about you guys? You guys done that a lot, or what? Like,
yeah, so with my team, when they left, they got sent home with a workout packet from our strength and conditioning coach, and then they still had our summer workout plan from the previous year, from last summer, and that's got ball work included in it and that kind of stuff. So, and then we were doing we've done a couple of Zoom calls. We do them once a week, and I'm kind of in the same mindset of you that, if I was doing all of my classes online, I would probably need as much time to get it done as possible. Less distractions, the better for me. So we've done it once a week, and typically, so we've been, and we really haven't talked about soccer at all. It's all been like team chemistry stuff. Like, we started a program when they were on campus this spring, and we're kind of continuing to work through it. But we've taken a couple of weeks off because they're going into final exams now, and they don't need to be thinking about soccer right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm trying to respect too, is, like, even though it feels like we've all been away for so long, which we have, if I look on my calendar, it's like, well, our spring season just ended last week or whatever, the week before. So we would have been giving them this break anyway. So I keep telling them, like, don't stress too much, work out, because they'll text me and say, like, or send me a picture of something and just be like, hey coach, like, we were all doing this today, just so you know, it's pretty cool. And I'm like, well, remember, you're supposed to take the break now, so then you're ready to start again in the summer. So don't push so hard that you're wanting to break in July. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm trying to keep it in perspective of the calendar that we were living off of before this virus broke out. So, yeah, but they're good. I think the girls are appreciating that, actually, because, they're handling their schedules, and I always tell them, I'm not going to hold your hand through school. Like, I can't do that. I can't manage everybody, but so far everyone's been okay. We're all staying connected one way or another. So
yeah, I think our Zoom calls have been pretty good. we typically, for like the first, we do everything for 30 minutes, and then I just tell them, I'm like, look, I'm getting off the call. You guys have 10 minutes just to kind of be your group and talk and do what you do. And it's, I think my stepdaughter's coming to play for me.
Really?
She's coming to play for us at Peace next year, so she's been in on the calls as well. So she takes her laptop and goes and sits outside. And the girls always give her a hard time because they're like, you won't even sit next to Reed and sit and use the same computer.
That's actually, but I mean, that would be like a different line to cross. Like, do I sit with you? Do we pretend like we're not in the same room? Like, that's interesting. That's cool though. That's neat.
Yeah, but she's from the recruiting side of things, she's enjoyed being in on them. And the first call was definitely very awkward because I made all the recruits introduce themselves, and obviously they know the girls already, but they had to talk a little bit about themselves, which as an 18-year-old is a little difficult at times.
Yeah, no, they shut down. A lot of them will just shut out. They don't know what to say about themselves.
Yeah.
And then you get coaches like all of us talking. We're like, well, we could talk about ourselves all day. But yeah, that's cool though. That's awesome that she's playing. She's gonna play for you. That's great.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Keep the family affair going. It'll be fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
It helps that she's a pretty good player too.
Yeah, I was gonna say. See, then if it wasn't that way, then it'll get even more awkward for your meetings. But that's okay. That's good.
As long as I don't have to meet with the parents, I'm fine.
Yeah, the 24-hour rule is going to be hard for you to keep going with parents talking to you immediately after a game. That's going to be tough.
I'll have to stay in the office if we have a bad day.
Yeah.
So you talked about you feel like you're a younger head coach, and I kind of got my first head coaching whenever I was around the same age as you are now. What are some of the challenges that you had to deal with, and how have you dealt with them as a younger head coach?
I mean, what a big question, right? You know, like I think when I went to Asheville, I had my first like proper panic attack. Like I've never in my life been so excited yet so scared at the same time. I think it's just for me, the biggest challenge is just trusting myself enough to just make the decision. And especially when it comes to like the financial stuff, the budget, because what most people I don't think realize about our jobs is like we are essentially running our own business. Like, you know, we're in charge of so many aspects of our program, but you have to be like an accountant, you have to be a coach, you have to be a counselor, you have to be an academic advisor. Like we have to cover so many angles. And you know, when you're an assistant coach, you just share that responsibility. And as the head coach, I mean, it's all under you. So I had to really learn to trust myself and know I'm smart enough and capable enough and all these things, because signing off on a scholarship form or signing off on a hotel deal or something, I was always so scared. Like I just was like, man, like, you know, I don't want to make a wrong decision, especially if it has to do with money or, you know, the recruiting stuff. We're used to that as assistant coaches, all these things. But the just being fully in charge was a challenge because I just wanted to make it perfect. I'm a perfectionist. I'm very like, you know, I just want it to be a certain way. But GLAD actually helped me a lot prepare for that. And a lot of coaches helped me prepare, just saying you're gonna make mistakes, but you know, you won't make the same mistake every single year as long as you're paying attention to that. So that was a huge thing. The money, managing an entire budget is a challenge for me, just not because I don't know what to do, just because I want to make sure I do it right and well. And then the other part was just being looked at as the head coach. I kind of forgot that now I have this title over me. So when I walk into the room, everybody gets nervous rather than relaxes. So the other jobs at UTRGV, you know, I got to be the icebreaker. I got to walk in and be all, you know, me and just, you know, laugh and smile and be there for everybody in a different way. And now I walk in and the room gets quiet, and I'm bummed about that because I'm such a social person, and, you know, I love these players and working with them. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have to keep remembering their perspective of me is now different, and they're a little scared to meet. They're a little scared to talk now. And that's been a challenge for me too, is to kind of still hold that authority, but then also still make myself approachable enough that they're not so nervous when they're playing in front of me or talking in front of me. So that's been a big one too. Like just remembering the title actually does change the way all these players look at me. So yeah, so that's a ongoing one, but it certainly has gotten easier and easier, because at the end of the day now I'm just like, I don't care what they think anymore. We just got to do what we got to do, and let's get on the bus and go, you know? So I had some good moments this year where I just let it out, and I was not nice. I was not pretty. It was not good, but it needed to be done. And it felt good to get that under my belt and to actually have moments where it's like, I can be nice to you guys when you're doing your job, but when you're not doing your job, it's going to change a little bit. So yeah, those are two big aspects for me that I had to get through for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly the change happens from going to be from an assistant to head coach and the demeanor and I was it was very different when I did it because I was the assistant of the program that I took over. So
Right.
it was in a week you could see things just immediately change. It was such a drastic change.
That's even harder for you because now all of a sudden you do have to kind of turn into someone else, although some of those players have already seen you in another light. So I can understand that. That would be a big challenge too. Because it's like we don't change as a person right away, but the title changes right away. So it's interesting, but yeah, different perspective.
Some of my players had already seen me be the bad cop once or twice, so they knew that was kind of under the surface. So.
Yeah, they knew you would fit into the role just fine, no problem.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have gotten the job without their support, so that was important to me too. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's good.
So what are some things that you're trying to do as a coach to continue developing yourself through this pandemic?
I mean, there's how many billion podcasts that we can all listen to right now. So, and I've actually attained a lot of books from people giving me books as like gifts or even hand-me-downs. And I've actually finally started sitting down, and one of the books is called, actually right here, is The Language of the Game. I got that from a really good group of parents in the Valley when I was working there. So I've been reading a lot, and then obviously listening and watching a lot of these podcasts that are going out, and like the Dan Abrams one that was out the other day. So that's kind of like that's kind of like all we have, but it's actually, that kind of sums it up to be too small. It's actually quite a lot of information that goes out there. So, and then I keep everything always together in the same folder from the season. So I just go through that going, oh yeah, like this is where we needed to change. This is what, so it's kind of, this break is kind of giving me a chance to like, I guess redraft the way I'm going to approach, the next preseason block. So, I basically just doing things like this is helping us stay tuned in because, no matter what, you can wake up and still work, whether we're at the office or not. So reading and listening to all these podcasts and stuff is just keeping me motivated to keep reviewing my own notes and game plan. So yeah, just constantly trying to keep up or get ahead, I guess. So it's nice to have all the coaching friends as a network too, because obviously we can all just share in what we're thinking. So yeah,
and commiserate a little bit as well.
Yeah, exactly. I miss the field. Actually, where I live, there's a like elementary school right behind my apartment complex, and there's a soccer field like for when they go out to recess and stuff. And I mean, there's people sneaking on that field every day right now, like kicking the ball around. And I think they just got in trouble, and I was so tempted to go out there just to like say I had a ball at my feet at least, or say I was around soccer or something in person. But yeah, it's hard to be away from it for sure.
We were lucky they left the fields close to our house open for probably a week whenever this first started happening. So we would go out there for an hour or two and just be out there and just play with me and my son and my daughter and just be out of the house for a little while. And now everything's locked up, so that's not available anymore. So we're trying to get a little creative now.
Yeah, because it's hard to prioritize because it's like, well, when the girls are gone, when the players are gone, it's like, well, you keep developing, but developing to what degree? Because if you can't apply anything yet, how are we going to know what else I have to keep developing once it's, to a certain point? So it's very weird. We almost feel useless. I feel useless right now if the players aren't here. It's like, well, what's my job? Like, I don't know. But honestly, like I said, administratively, we all have so much work we have to do administratively that this is kind of like a good thing in one way that we can get some of that stuff done. So yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things that I'm trying to catch up on and really get into my 2021 class and start trying to sort some of those kids out and hopefully start to plan some visits for the fall. But obviously that's a little bit further down the road and I can't quite cement those things yet. But I'm trying to kind of get ahead in the recruiting game a little bit.
Yeah, we actually had a couple kids sign who never got to come to campus, and so it's a big emphasis for the current players, to reach out. They've been reaching out because I was like, imagine if you never got to come to campus and never got to meet your teammates in person, as a freshman or as a transfer player, imagine what that would feel like. So it'll be interesting if we can get the season off the ground. It'll be interesting, like that dynamic to come back in, which is why all this technology is so important to keep them connected. But yeah, I don't know. It's just different for all of us.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What advice do you have for young coaches?
For young coaches?
Yep.
My one thing is just trust yourself a little bit. Like, I mean, you know, I was scared even to coach in front of Glad for the first time, like he would be judging me or something. And it was like, no, he didn't want to watch me coach just to like critique it. He just wanted to know the styles of all of us so we could collaborate. But to trust themselves, but also to like go just watch soccer, like not like on TV. Yes, on TV, but I mean, go watch like club coaches coach live. Go watch college coaches coach live at practices. Being at Castle and now NCFC, that was the greatest platform I could have been given, because between sessions, or if I only had 2 practices that night instead of 3 or whatever the case was, I could sit and watch some of these great coaches, you know, run practice. And I just took notes, or just you know, took away a little bit of their demeanor or the way that they could, you know, get something laid out or whatever it may be. Just watching them go through it at a higher level for youth soccer was so helpful for me. So I think just exposing yourself to other good coaches, actually running a session or just saying, hey, can I come out? I think that's the best advice I could give, because we can read and we can do all these things so much, but it's nice to watch other people who have done it before us go do it. And now I can take notes from it, but then put my own spin on it later. And now it's still a learning tool from them, but it's also now it's my own. So that's my biggest advice, is just to get involved, even if it's voluntarily, with like some other teams or some other clubs, to just sit and watch. So I think that was huge for me, at least. So
Yeah, I think that's super important as well. You know, I spent some time this spring going out and watching NC State train, watching your alma mater train. So that was, you know, a great resource for me, and they were super open and really like basically an open book. You know, here's what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do it. All that good stuff. So and I'll get to go to your old stomping grounds and be with NCFC next year.
yeah, and no, that's pretty awesome. It's expanding. Yeah, we actually have, because where we're located, University of Houston is literally right across the street from us. And so like I've gotten to go with Diego and Gus and do all their camps like since I've been here. And even just being a part of their camps, watching them, how they do that stuff, has helped me from not only a camp standpoint, but like sessions, you know, because they'll bring coaches in, other college coaches in and do stuff. And I sit there and make sure, like, I'm not just writing down players, I'm writing down sessions and writing down, you know, different ideas from what I'm watching. So it's been nice to have this whole little network of schools really close together where I'm at now, because we can all just kind of pop in, and whether it's camp, whether it's a session or scrimmage or something, it's been nice to, like, again, gather more from these coaches who have way more experience than me. So it's been very convenient, and it's nice that they're all good people too. It's nice that everybody's like, you know, fun to hang out with. So yeah. Putting yourself in the game more.
I mean, it goes back to what I've tried to get across with some of these videos, is that you know, coaches are some of the most open people. You know, it's not like we're trying to get all the information, just keep it to ourselves. You know, we want to continue to grow the game and make it better. And if somebody's willing to come and ask, it's very rare that you're going to have a coach tell you no.
Right. And sometimes if that's the case, it's usually because they just don't want you to see them coach, because maybe they got their own issues or something else going on. But no, I agree with that too. Like everyone I've ever met, it's kind of like, because at the end of the day, like you can hand me a session, you and I can both have the same session, but we're going to go coach it completely differently because of just your style versus my style, your personality versus my personality. So that's why I'm never scared to talk about that either. It's kind of like, at the end of the day, we could all go out and have the exact same thing, which we see that all the time in camps or in ODP or all that stuff. And you can be watching the same session, but it doesn't look like it at all because of the way the coach puts their own take on the training. So yeah, I agree with you. It is open. It's nice to no one's keeping secrets like that, because Lord knows I need help. So
don't we all?
Yeah.
If you know it all, you're wrong.
Yeah, you might as well stop. Yeah, that's so true.
Well, awesome, Lindsay. Well, we really appreciate you taking some time to talk with us today. You know, wish you the best of luck there at Texas Southern, and look forward to seeing what you're able to do with the program now.
Yeah, thank you, Reed. Good luck to you too. I appreciate it.